When people ask me what big data is, I like to give them some examples and tell a story about how big data actually works. If you can imagine with me a farmer. He wakes up early in the morning, he makes his cup of coffee and he walks into the field of grain. He looks across that golden field and thinks to himself, how much will I harvest this year? How is the quality and will it reach a top price? Can I start to build my new barn this year or do I need to wait another year? Now let's move across to another field. Now imagine the medical field. The nurse walks into a room where a patient without the ability to speak is having an outburst. The patient is completely inconsolable and it takes the nurse an hour to calm that patient down. The nurse wonders to herself, how can I identify the early signs of discomfort and be able to take care of my patient in the best possible way? Now let's move to a world where information is made available, a world of big data. The farmer wakes up early. As he waits for the coffee to finish percolating, his phone chimes. He knows it's what he's been looking for. He knows it's what he's been waiting for. As he sips his coffee, he reads the wheat yield and quality report. He smiles to himself. This year will be a good year. The nurse is pushing her cart and her smartwatch starts to vibrate on her wrist. She glances down and immediately she understands that Anders, the new elderly patient, is thirsty and is becoming unsettled. As she walks into his room with a cup of water, he smiles at her. As he sips his water, she feels closer to her patients than ever before.
The management team taking decisions often use tools to help in that process. So quite often the better the tool, the better the decision making. And that's going to increase the success of a company. So the decision tools are dependent upon data going into those decision tools. And that data can come from many different sources. It's the joining of all that data, which we would probably call big data. And use of that big data is how I take better decisions. The data itself doesn't have to be big. The data could be small chunks of data. It could be the weather forecast, which isn't a huge amount of data. But using a weather forecast combined with ice cream sales from 6 months ago is actually going to give you a decision-making model. And none of that data is a huge amount of data, but it's what we call big data because we're joining data across different sectors, weather forecast sectors, sales, historical sales figures, and we're perhaps combining it with some kind of predictive model on what an advertising campaign is going to increase in the web ice cream, sales of ice creams. That for me is use of big data. And it's how you tune the big data, tune all the different input sources, that is big data.
I really like the way that we work with our customers, as it brings a personal touch to what is otherwise known as a clinical and difficult to understand process. We always start with a business need. Our team works with you to conduct a business deep dive to identify where the barriers, the bottlenecks and opportunities lie.
Company facing new challenges or wanting to improve is always a good sign. If we were going to come into that company and analyse that company, we need to take in people into a discussion. It's done through a brainstorming, a deep dive into your business. We have to understand what drives your business, what are the variables that's going to influence your business. We would take the people with the knowledge into the room. No one person probably has the whole knowledge, but the set of the individuals within the room possess that knowledge. So as a company, we would go in, we would facilitate conversations, and we would piece together those knowledge, bricks of knowledge, and build a foundation for your company. We would build a business model using pieces of that information, chewing it together, joining the dots between the different building blocks, and come up with a knowledge of how those bits of data influence each other. Because each one of those pieces of data plays together in a big picture. It's a complex picture. So going in, analysing a business, understanding the business, understanding which pieces of data, which you may not even have been aware of, we can actually improve your awareness of your own company.
Then look at where the data sources should come from that provide us with the most relevant and meaningful information, set about with sensors or software to collect it. We capture that data in a platform that is a good fit for your particular business need. And finally, we use the power of analytical tools to provide you the information that you need to make decisions, like customer insights, models, and predictive scenarios. We take the mystery out of big data because our team can handle the entire big data value chain, from helping you identify a value proposition all the way to data acquisition, and then the result. We're a one-stop shop that can leverage our business acumen and engineering skills to create real-world business value for your company.
That's a really important way to improve your company, is to understand your understanding of your own business. It sounds easy, it's actually very complicated.